lesson is about measures of position for grouped data. First thing to consider when solving measures of position for grouped data is that you should have the frequency distribution table. And now I will teach you first how to make a frequency distribution table. So we will use the data below. The age of the residents of Payapa compound. So there are 50 residents. First step is to determine the number of classes. The formula to get the number of classes should be k equals 1 plus 3.322 times logarithm of n, where n is the size of the data. So in this case, there are 50 residents, and it means that n is equal to 50. To get the number of classes, we will substitute 50 to n. Therefore, logarithm of 50 is 1.70. 1.70 times 3.322 is 5.64 plus 1, that's 6.64. So we will round off the number. K therefore is equal to 7. So based on the data above, the number of classes is 7. Second step is to find the size of the class interval. So to find the size of the class interval, we will identify the maximum value of the data and the minimum value of the data. So here, the maximum value is 40 and the minimum value is 6, divided by the number of classes, which is 7. So 40 minus 6 is 34, divided by 7, that's 4.857. So we will round the number, that gives us 5. Therefore, the size of the class interval is 5. Third step is to arrange all the data in ascending order. So from smallest to largest. Step number 4 is we can now make the frequency distribution table. So we will construct the class interval, the frequency, the lower boundary, and the less than cumulative frequency. So here's the table, and take note that I is 5, the size of the class interval is 5, and there are 7 classes. So it means that I here is 5, and to construct the class interval, we will start at the minimum value. Okay, so that's 6. So the size is 5. It means that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 6 to 10. Next is 11 to 15. So still, 5 ang size. So dapat magkaparehas ang size lahat. Next is 16 to 20, 21 to 25, 26 to 30, 31 to 35, then 36 to 40. So as you can see, meron tayong 7 classes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next is for the frequency, we will count how many residents ages 6 to 10. So in this case, i-count natin, that's 1, 2. So there are 2. So the frequency of the first class is 2. Next is how many residents ages 11 to 15. So count natin. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the frequency of the second class is 7. Next is for ages 16 to 20. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7. For those ages 21 to 25, Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12. And for those ages 26 to 30, okay, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12. And for those ages 31 to 35, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4. Ages 36 to 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6. So that's the frequency of the class interval. And we will get the total. We will sum up the total frequency. That's 50. Next is for the lower boundary. We will look at the lower limit. So we will subtract 0.5 each of the lower limit. So the lower limit is 6. 6 minus 0.5, that's 5.5. 11 minus 0.5, that's 10.5. 16 minus 0.5, that's 15.5. 21 minus 0.5, that's 20.5. 26 minus 0.5 is 25.5. 31 minus 0.5, that's 30.5. 36 minus 0.5 is 35.5. And for the less than cumulative frequency, we will look at the first frequency. Okay, so the first frequency natin, that's 2. So, kopyahin lang natin yan dito sa first less than cumulative frequency. So, dapat magkaparehas ang value ng dalawa dyan. Next is, we will add 2 plus 7. Okay, so that's 9. 9 plus 7, that's 16. 16 plus 12, that's 28. 28 plus 12, that's 40. 40 plus 4, that's 44. And 44 plus 6, that's 50. So, take note that itong less than cumulative frequency ay dapat mag-coincide dito sa total number of frequency. Okay. So, you already have the idea on how to make a frequency distribution table. And now, let's start solving quartile for the group data. In computing quartiles of group data, the following formula is used. Q sub k equals LB plus the quantity Kn over 4 minus CF sub B all over F sub Q sub K times I, where LB is the lower boundary of the Q sub K class, CF sub B is the cumulative frequency of the class before the quartile class, N is the total frequency, F sub Q sub K is the frequency of the quartile class, I is the size of the class interval, and K is the nth quartile where K is equal to 1, 2, or 3. So let's take this first example. The table shows the scores of 50 grade 10 students in the third periodic test. Calculate Q sub 1, Q sub 2, and Q sub 3. So here, we need to complete the table by finding the lower class boundary and the cumulative frequency. So for the lower class boundary, we have to look at the lower limit and subtract 0.5 each of the lower limit. So first is 16. 16 minus 0.5 is 15.5. 21 minus 0.5 is 20.5. 26 minus 0.5 is 25.5. 31 minus 0.5 is 30.5. 36 minus 0.5 is 35.5. 41 minus 0.5 is 40.5. And 46 minus 0.5 is 45.5. And for the less than cumulative frequency, we will copy the first frequency. Okay? So, dapat magkaparehos itong dalawa dito. And then, plus 2, that's 4. 4 plus 6, that's 10. 10 plus 14 is 24. 24 plus 9 is 33. 33 plus 12 is 45. And 45 plus 5 is 50. So, again, dapat mag-coincide ang itong nasa less than cumulative frequency at saka ang total number of frequency. Since kompleto na ang table natin, we can now solve for the Q sub 1. And first step is, we have to locate the Q sub 1 class. That's by using the formula Kn over 4, where K is 1, since Q sub 1 yan, and 50 is the total frequency. So, N is 50. So, 1 times 50 divided by 4 is 12.5. Ngayon, titignan natin sa less than cumulative frequency kung saan 12.5 is less than or equal to. Okay? Less than or equal to. So, 12.5 is greater than 2. So, hindi dyan. 12.5 is greater than 4. Hindi dito. 12.5 is greater than 10. Hindi dito. So, 12.5 is less than 24. Ibig sabihin, Q sub 1 class is located here. Okay? Andito sa class interval 31 to 35. And, dito tayo kukuha ng values na kakailanganin natin to solve for Q sub 1. So, let's identify the values. Kn over 4 is 12.5. Lower boundary, that's 30.5. Cf sub b, take note that Cf sub b is the cumulative frequency before the Q sub k class. So, it means that if this is where we can locate Q sub 1, yung less than cumulative frequency before Q sub 1 class is 10. Okay? So, Cf sub b therefore is 10. And the frequency is 14. And the class size, the size of the class interval is 5. So, that is by counting the distance from the lower limit to the upper limit. Okay, so 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So, the size is 5. Or, if you wish, pwede din siya upper limit minus lower limit. Like, 20 minus 16 is 4 plus 1. Okay? So, mag plus 1 tayo. That's 5. So, yun na yung size natin. 25 minus 21 is 4 plus 1. So, 5. Okay? So, the size of the class interval here is 5. So, the values are complete. We can now use the formula for Q sub 1. Okay? So, Q sub 1 equals LB plus, LB is the lower boundary, plus Kn over 4 minus cumulative frequency before Q sub 1 class all over frequency of Q sub 1 times the size of the class interval. So, we will plug in all the values. LB is, lower boundary is 30.5. Kn over 4 is 12.5 minus Cf sub b is 10 all over frequency is 14 times the size of the class interval is 5. So, simplify. Take note na we have to simplify first itong nasa loob ng parenthesis. So, 12.5 minus 10 is 2.5 divided by 14 times 5. So, 2.5 divided by 14 times 5 is 0.89. So, 30.5 plus 0.89 is 31.39. So, Q1 therefore is 31.39. So, for the interpretation, therefore, since Q sub 1 is 25%, 25% of the scores of grade 10 students is less than or equal to 31.39. So, for the Q sub 2 or the median, same process, we will locate the Q sub 2 class first by using the formula Kn over 4, where K is 2 kasi Q sub 2 na, and then N is 50, the total frequency divided by 4. So, 2 times 50 divided by 4 is 25. So, again, let's look at the less than cumulative frequency and look at where 25 is less than or equal to. So, 25 is greater than 2. Hindi dito. 25 is greater than 4. 25 is greater than 10. 25 is greater than 24. 25 is less than 33. So, it means that the location of Q sub 2 class is andito. So, class interval 36 to 40. Then, let's identify the values needed for the formula. Kn over 4 is 25. Lower boundary is 35.5. CF sub B, or the less than cumulative frequency before Q sub 2 class, is 24. Then, frequency is 9. Frequency of Q sub 2 class is 9. And the size of the class interval is 5. Then, apply the formula. Q sub 2 equals lower boundary plus the quantity Kn over 4 minus CF sub B all over F sub Q sub 2 times I. So, plug in all the values. LB is 35.5. Kn over 4 is 25 minus the cumulative frequency before Q sub 2 class is 24 all over the frequency is 9 times the class size is 5. So, simplify natin muna ito. 25 minus 24 is 1 over 9. So, 1 over 9 times 5 is 0.56. 35.5 plus 0.56 is 36.06. So, ibig sabihin, Q sub 2 is 36.06. Therefore, 50% of the scores of grade 10 students is less than or equal to 36.6. For Q sub 3, let's locate the Q sub 3 class. So, again, Kn over 4, where K is 3 kasi Q sub 3, 3 times N is 50, the total frequency, over 4. So, 30 times 50 divided by 4 is 37.5. So, check natin sa less than cumulative frequency where 37.5 is less than or equal to. So, 37.5 is greater than 33. Hindi dito. 37.5 is less than 45. So, it means that the location of Q sub 3 class is in the class interval 41 to 45. Okay? So, andito. Then, let's identify the values. Kn over 4 is 37.5. Lower boundary is 40.5. CF sub B is 33. Frequency of Q sub 3 class is 12. and the class size is 5. Then solving for Q sub 3, let's plug in the values. So Q sub 3 equals, lower boundary is 40.5 plus the quantity of Kn over 4 is 37.5 minus Cf sub b is 33 all over 12 times the size is 5. Then simplify. 37.5 minus 33 is 4.5 divided by 12 times 5, that's 1.88. 40.5 plus 1.88 is 42.38. So Q sub 3 is 42.38. Therefore, since Q sub 3 is 75%, 75% of the scores of grade 10 students is less than or equal to 42.38. Okay, so that's how to solve quartiles of grouped data.